So I actually started off, my parents went to church. They took me along. I didn't enjoy a minute of it. I didn't feel like I fitted in. All the other kids were kind of like grammar schools and clever, and I was just a bit of one of them kids. I wasn't a bad kid, but I was restless. I always wanted to be doing something, all that stuff. And so as soon as I was old enough, really, I started playing football, and I left, and I never planned on coming back. And it was a long road, but we got there in the end. So throughout school and stuff, I wasn't really naughty, but I wasn't the best behaved. I would get excluded and stuff like that, and all that nonsense. But again, I think it was just my head. I didn't have no inner peace. I didn't really have any direction. But I love my sports, so that's kind of what I spent my time doing. When I wasn't doing sports, I was probably just out with my mates, running around the streets, not causing havoc, but not focusing on probably the things I should have been focusing on. And it gets to an age where I got bullied in school as well, so again, that kind of made me just scared of the world. But my way of protecting myself from that was to try and make other people scared. So I kind of became a bully, whether that was at home to my brother or other kids in school, people that I could kind of exert my power over what power I thought I had, because that might get me a reputation that stops me getting bullied again. And some of the stuff I'll talk about tonight I'm not proud of, it's just reality, that's where I was. And so I've gone up from junior school to secondary school, and I've kind of gone the other way. I've become quite introvert. I could fit in with most people, but I never felt like I fitted in, if that makes sense. So I kind of had a lot of friends, but no friends at the same time. And I kept myself at arm's length from everyone. I could never feel connected, I could never feel part of something. And I guess that just followed me, and I couldn't understand why. I just assumed that's just me. People don't like me, I don't like people. And that's not the case really, it's just that I didn't know how. Got to mid-teens, and I found, we come to the end of the school year, and people were partying, nothing to do in the summer holidays, and I got injured, so I couldn't do my sports much, and I found drugs and alcohol. Someone offered me some cannabis, and I took it, and I didn't even like the effects of it, of the actual high of the cannabis, but I liked the fact that it just gave me some peace from it. It stopped me thinking, and it just calmed my head down, and it also, again, it was the cool thing to do. At that point there was no consequences. I hadn't really had any consequences from any of my behaviour. Around that time though, I did start self-harming. I don't know why. In school I remember I would cut myself, but I would do it where no one could see, and I think again that was that. Mental pain was easier to make it physical. That was my way of coping, one of them. And so I rolled with that, and it was just cannabis, and then I started smoking a bit more. Different people, so no one knew how much I was smoking. I couldn't roll a joint, so I had to find someone that could do that for me. All that stuff just ran in different circles, and my friends they were all doing it too, but for me, I think they were doing it for fun. They could go home and not think about it. For me, I was craving that peace, that I won't call it an out-of-body experience, but something that just took me away from me, because I didn't know who I was, where I was going. I didn't have no hope, and I think when I find myself here today, like this place, this house of God, that's what's here. That's hope, that's peace, that's fellowship, that's security, that's like promise and fulfillment. That's everything you can get in these places, and it took me a while to learn that. So I've got to about 18, and I've been offered some cocaine, and I turned it down a couple of times, and then had a few drinks more, and all your good decisions go completely out the window, and I took some cocaine, and that allowed me to stand and speak to people, socialise, have a good night, not be anxious, just it was good. I enjoyed it, that's why I did it. I didn't know where it was going to take me. Very quickly it was an every week thing, buying my own, and then daily through college, whatever, I was using it every day. Obviously with that you pay more and more money. The people I was around, like they're just people I grew up with, so I saw nothing wrong with what they did, how they make their money, and that made it easy for me to get my drugs. And so I'm sniffing more and more cocaine, and it's taken me down a dark path, and that's when more self-harm, suicide attempts, all that kind of stuff. And then I'll just skip it kind of forward into my first rehab, because that's where things started to change. Sorry, just before I went to my first rehab, I realised I had a hole in my nose, so I thought a great idea would be to stop sniffing cocaine and start smoking crack instead. So I started smoking crack, and you see the effects crack has on people. You see it in Southend High Street. It's a dark drug, it's a slippery slope. And I kind of hid that for a little bit for a while, but there's only so long you can hide a crack habit for. And it kind of came out in the open, so I ended up in rehab. I knew I had a problem way before, but I thought I'd be able to sort it out myself. I'm good, I can do everything. Don't worry about me, just let me get on with it. So I've ended up in rehab. It was a Christian rehab over in Reading called Yeovil Manor. And I was in there for about 6 months, and I think, so like most days we do a bit of fellowship, a bit of worship, prayer, Bible study. And I think that Waymaker song, that was the first song that I heard them sing. And I just remember, like, it's a countryside manor house. I can't remember the name of the place, but Hare's Hatch or something, proper big old estate. And I've never really been anywhere like that, and it was just peace. And there was people in there, all been on the same journey as me, all got me. I felt like I fitted in, and they just wanted positivity. And I kind of heard a message of hope. I saw a message of hope. I didn't hear it first, I saw it. And then through listening to a bit of scripture and hearing testimonies like this, I started to see there was a way out. And I heard that song, and it's always just stuck with me. I think the lyrics are very simple, but they're very meaningful to me. They touch my heart a lot. And I was in there for a few months, and I thought I was alright. I had a couple of people come to visit me, and I was doing alright, and I felt good, and I started to convince myself I miss my family, I miss my friends, and they miss me. But no, they wanted me there because I wasn't causing carnage, I wasn't ruining their lives, and they had peace of mind while I was there as well. One day I've decided, right, I'm ready to go home. I've been there 6 months, I'm fixed now. I remember my parents, they tried to convince me to stay there, and I just weren't having none of it, and they come to pick me up, and I remember driving out the gates of that place and thinking, what have you done? I knew exactly what I was going home to, and it was normality still to me. It was nothing that scared me, but I tried to come out of that, and it hadn't worked. So that's my journey to that point. I come back and I'm smoking crack way more than I ever was. I'm probably going through minimum £1,000 a week, like up to whatever I could get my hands on. And for me, not working, I had to get my money. However, I had to get my money, and a lot of that, it's all that stuff that comes with it. But a lot of that, unfortunately, was me manipulating my parents as well. I just need this money. Someone's going to do this. Someone's going to do that. There wasn't, because I knew how to play their game, and I was a good customer for people. So, but they just wanted to keep me alive. Bear in mind, they were all going to church through this period. So, and they could not understand. My mum tells me she would just walk her dog, and she would be screaming at God like, "Why are you doing this to me? What is all this about?" Like getting angry with Him. And now having faith myself to look at that and think, to make someone question their God like that is the person that you need to go through for security and for hope. To lose that hope in your God that you always believed in must be a level of distress and anxiety that was causing her that I couldn't. I do feel guilty for her, and she started to suffer with her mental health. My dad as well. I found out, I hope you don't mind me saying, found out, like he said to me, it was multiple times, he's not this kind of guy, but multiple times he just drove down this road planning to just drive into this tree and kill himself. And to hear that stuff is not nice, but that's where we were, and we're here now. We're all through it. We've got through it, and that's the main thing. So they again, this carried on, and I was looking, for some reason I looked at my medical history last night on the NHS app, and it's just tragic. Constantly seizures, suicidal attempts, hospital admissions, constantly, like 3-4 times a month. And you forget how dark it was, but it was dark, and I was in it, so to me it was not a problem. To me it was a problem, but to me it was my life. It wasn't hard work, it was just a job, pretty much. And it come to a point where a couple of things happened. My friend passed away from a different set of circumstances, but I saw what happened to his family. He'd always check on me every so often just to see if I was all right, and I saw what his family were going through when he passed away. I saw what was going on in my home, and people were concerned about me, but also everyone had just disappeared. I pushed everyone away. I didn't want to be around myself, so I'm not surprised people didn't want to be around me. And it got to a point where there was one night I was desperate for money. I bled my parents dry for all their money, and I needed my fix. And again, this isn't something I'm proud of, but this is the reality, and this is how much God can turn our lives around. Like, I held my parents at a knife point and I said, I need some money, right? And some of you have met my parents, like, they're not they're quite gentle people anyway, and they run out of the house and then the police and whatever, all that situation happened. And at that point I knew that that's where I need to change. So I started searching for rehabs, and the ones I've been in before, the ones that said they would give me an upper chance when I'm ready, wouldn't, because I've become a bit much of a liability, really, my health-wise and my mental state and my behaviours and all that. And so I was panicking. I thought, oh no, even the people that said they would help me won't help me now. And I carried on searching, and we found this one in Loughborough in the Midlands, East Midlands. And they said they would take me. Again, it was a Christian rehab. And it kind of turned out to be, it was a strange one. And when we talk about God making a way, I always think, I heard someone say once, the Red Sea it didn't disappear. The Red Sea was parted and God made a way through it. The waves were still there, it was still raging, but there was a way made through it. And sometimes we can't understand these things, and when we try to, we can put ourselves in a lot of trouble, a lot of turmoil, and I didn't need any more of that. So I went to this rehab, and my dad had decided to change churches a couple of months before, and he went, and it was the first week of COVID lockdown, and there was a pastor in the car park and saying that we're closed, and this guy just stood there and chatted with my dad, who we'd never met before, for like 3-4 hours. And my dad told him everything that was going on at home, and the guy came and saw me, and he was a constant, and he was telling me God's got plans for you, he's planting all these seeds, and I'm just like, get out, I just want my crack, I just want to, let me get on with my business. I did really appreciate the time he was giving me, the love he was giving me, and the opportunities to just have someone around me. But I had other priorities at that point. He's come to take me to this rehab on this morning. I just remember I was trying to smoke the rest of my drugs, like get myself together. He come to pick me up at like 9:30. I remember sitting against my bedroom door, like terrified, crying, texting my mum, I can't live without drugs, I don't know how I can do that. Just like a little boy against my bedroom door. Like, this guy that's built this big ego, thinking like I've got life under control and I can do this and no one's going to hurt me, and even if they do, who cares, I've got nothing to lose. But I was just sitting against my bedroom door crying like a little baby, and I was just broken. And this guy waited like 5 hours. He's a busy man, he's got businesses, he's got family, everything. Him and his wife waited 5 hours just to take me to rehab. And if they didn't, I would have been dead within a week, 100%, I don't doubt that. And they saw that, and that's why they waited. And I got there, and it's kind of the start of the good bit, really. It didn't go as planned. I didn't enjoy the place, but it gave me an opportunity to break the cycle, and it let me breathe for a minute. About 3 days in, I think it was, someone came in and did this, what I'm doing now, and I just heard God's message, and I heard it this time, and I felt it. And I knew I'd tried everything, and I was broken, and I had nothing to lose. Like, what did I have to lose? I lost everything. I might as well give it a go. So I did, and I remember sitting in this little quiet room with this northern guy, and we just said the sinner's prayer, and I decided, come on, it's your last shot. Try it, and I meant it when I said it. I knew that I was done using, because I'd hidden all my stuff before I left for the rehab. And I rang my dad a couple of days in and said, this is where everything's hidden, get rid of it. Said that prayer, and little did I know what that was going to do in my life, and as a ripple in other people's lives at that point. But it changed something at that moment, just changed. a couple of days after, I didn't go too well in that rehab. I was quite volatile at that point. As I said, coming off crack, you're not the nicest person, and I couldn't deal with people either. I've never been able to deal with people, so the combination of the two didn't really go that well. And I kind of got asked to leave, so that I can't fully remember the situation. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember from my using days because of all the seizures and stuff, and I'm sure there's stuff I've done that I don't know about. But I've left there and I'm just out on the street and I'm thinking I've just messed up my only chance, the only people that would help me. And I'm looking at human power, I'm not thinking that God's here to help me. All I could think was I've done it now, that's it. And I was just waiting on this road. I didn't know the area, I didn't know, I was actually in shorts, I think, and a t-shirt and flip-flops, and it was raining and I was in a strange area and they just said, send someone to get your stuff when you can. And I was just standing there like on this main road just waiting for a lorry to come. And no lorry was coming, and I just looked up, and about a mile away I just saw a cross on top of a church. And I was like, I used to walk around crack addict, hating myself, too embarrassed and ashamed to look at anyone in the eye, so I walked around like that. I could tell you every pothole, every pavement stone in my area. For some reason I looked up and I just saw this cross and I thought, remember what you did the other day? Just go there, just go there, see what happens, just go there. So I just followed, I just looked and just found my way through the streets and found this big church and knocked the door. No one answered, knocked another door with some big Anglican church, and some little old lady popped her head out the door and said, can I help you? And I said, I just kind of cried again, to be honest. Just cried. She must have thought, what's going on here? She let me in and I explained what happened. And I looked forward and there's like this wedding rehearsal going on, and there's me sitting at the back, all a mess, drug addict. But she spent time with me, and her and one of the pastors, they prayed with me and just looked after me. And my parents, they contacted my dad, they let me use their phone and they come and got me. And at that point, I still speak to that woman to this day every so often because she doesn't know what she did for me. But she was probably another person that kept me alive. My dad, mum picked me up and they said, we'll take you home tonight, I'm from the Midlands, and we'll bring you down to Essex tomorrow. We've got some family down here, and I just said, no, I'm going tonight. So I ended up down here about 1 in the morning, and I've never been home from that point. I've just got involved in local 12-step meetings, and I started going to a church up in Benfleet, and I didn't really fit in there, but I knew I was trying to be given that hope, and all it takes is like someone to plant a seed, and at some point that would be harvested, you know what I mean? That would be really turned on. I saw something earlier, I think it was one of the Psalms, maybe Psalm 1, verse 26, I can't remember, and it said something like, those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy or something, and it just made me feel like that pain and that hurt that I went through is coming, like I'm reaping and enjoying it. It wasn't.
Amen.
I didn't know God my whole life. I knew of Him. I didn't know Him, and there's a difference. I've heard about God. You have to get to know Him. And looking back, the journey He's brought me on, and sometimes even now, I kind of skipped over a bit, but I've come down here and I've started getting involved in churches, and that guy come down and found me a local church in Southend, and it's Southend Christian Fellowship, and they did so much of me. They showed me what love's about, they showed me what acceptance is about, and I started attending a ministry called Believers in Recovery, and again the same thing. It's just been a journey, a room full of people like me. We get each other and we all want to know God, and I kind of followed that journey, and I've been inside Living, and I started volunteering. I now manage a young person drug and alcohol service in Southend. So my life's kind of come full circle, and when I've been clean, I've been through some stuff as well. When I look back, it's quite some quite heavy stuff, but you just get on with it and keep focused on God. And sometimes it feels like I'm being punished, and that feeling my mum got, why are you doing this? What's going on? Like, that feeling of punishment, He's not a punishing God that we have. He's like, I feel like He was preparing me, and He continues to prepare me for a blessing that is on its way. And I've had more blessings, and I don't think there's ever a blessing that will fulfill my wildest dreams. But like when I look at the bigger picture and the life I've built, or God's built for me, and the way it's happened, and He's kind of just refined me and cleansed me, and and put people around me that I never would have come into contact with otherwise. I was a best man at a wedding the other week. Like, people didn't invite me to their weddings, they didn't invite me to birthdays, nothing. And like all this, all this preparation and refinement and alignment is testing.
Yeah.
But I've got that hope now. I've got that promise. There's like, I heard something, what was it? I'm in a corridor between promise and fulfillment. Just keep walking and you'll get to that fulfillment. It's a dark place, it can be a dark place. Don't know when it's going to end, but there is an end to this corridor. And I feel like that's where I am. Even right now, I'm going through something which isn't going how I planned it to go. But the foundations it's building on are strong foundations. And when something's built on strong foundations, we know that it doesn't collapse. It can weather a storm. You can get a breakthrough, and that's for life. And yeah, so right now, life's alright, and life's alright, and got God. And I think again, just to be able to stand up here, as I said, I couldn't hardly look anyone in the eye, let alone stand and talk to people, let alone stand and talk to people about God. So it's just glory to Him and how He's changed my life, and that He's given me the opportunity to do things like this. I don't know if anyone needed to hear this or what, but I'm hoping that it will give someone a little bit of hope. And my friend over there, I hope you stay in these places, because I don't want to be standing up here doing this in 15 years. I've gone through the same journey I've done, I promise you.
Amen, James.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Praise the Lord. Powerful. And thank you, James. And it's so like when you were explaining, that lost feeling. Without God, we're lost. And Jesus, He said, when there's 99 sheep, I'm going after the one that's lost. I'm going to get that one and I'm going to bring him back again. And that's what He did, man. Praise God.